So guys, welcome back to a new video. This is the first ride review of the Yamaha YZF R 125. So some basic facts about the YZF R. It's a 125, as you can hear in the name. It's a sport bike. Yeah, it got these clip-ons, cable clutch, a single disc brake at front, upside down suspension, and all that good stuff. It's maybe a bit on the high end of 125s. So let's talk a bit about the engine in the YZF R 125. As you can hear in the name, it's 125. The engine is liquid cooled, 6-speed transmission, basically like any other 125, except this engine is pretty flipping good. Now I'm in 6th gear, cruising in 80 kilometers per hour, around like 6,000 RPM-ish, a bit less actually. At those speeds, I can run around 40 to 60 kilometers per liter. It says according to the dash. I have no idea if it's true. I think so, kinda. At least around that, in the ballpark. Engine, good engine. According to me, a better engine than that's in my Duke. I don't know if it's just on the YZF, but I believe it has the same engine as the MT. I could be wrong though, so don't quote me on that. However, it got plenty of power for 125. You know, now I'm in 5th gear, 50. You know, I can still accelerate. You know, I can do that in my Duke also, but you know, it feels like I have power even around like 4,000 RPM. And it's like, well, I guess it's the signal. It have a bit of torque down there, but anyway, for 125, good engine, good engine. It's the best engine in all of the 125s that I've ridden. Actually, I think it's better than the GS6S, better than the Duke, and better than the Chrysler Supermoto. So not to say that those engines are bad necessarily, just this one's better in my opinion. Why? I don't know. I like the power delivery. The power delivery, they basically nailed it, almost. Well, I don't have any complaints. Just it's slow. It's 125. But other than that, the engine is flipping very nice. One thing I can add about the engine is rev matching feels really good. Very easy bike to rev match, you know. Yeah. So I just thought I'd add that. Yeah, the exhaust is the exhaust I like it better than the Duke. Like the way they designed the exhaust. For example, on my KTM Duke, it's a 2017 model. It has the exhaust pipe that comes out of the cylinder and it kind of curves around, and then it goes into the catalytic converter. Then the catalytic converter goes into the pre-silencer. The pre-silencer then goes into the silencer. What I like about that exhaust, there's basically 4 pieces, and you can change those pieces depending how loud you want an exhaust. For example, you can change just the silencer, or you can remove the silencer and the pre-silencer and create a, you know, I guess still having the silencer in the end, but removing the pre-silencer and moving to a more open end can. Or you can do a full system, so you can kind of choose how loud you want it. The YZF, it has one straight exhaust. It goes from the cylinder to the silencer in one piece. So meaning, if you want to change the exhaust on this YZF, you would have to change the full system. And on this bike, there's a Black Widow exhaust. I don't know which one. It's like the one of the bigger tips silencer. Yeah, it goes this was really annoying. We were going to change the oil on this, and that Black Widow exhaust goes right under the oil drain plug. So here's the plug, and here's the, you know, the pipe. Meaning, if you want to change oil, if you have a Black Widow exhaust on this bike, you have to take off the entire exhaust to be able to drain the oil. And that's not Yamaha's problem, it's the Black Widow who did it kind of bad. But the thing is, I would like a more modifiable exhaust, a more exhaust that you can change out a small pieces instead of changing it to a full system. Because most full systems, if you would want like a legal full system, it would be very expensive, because they would have to put in a catalytic converter and all of that. But a Duke, oh, I want it to sound a bit more and still be kind of legal. The exhaust doesn't need to be legal, but it needs to be, you know, acceptable. You can just change the end cam, and then you don't have to pay for a catalytic converter, you don't have to pay for a pre-sensor, you just have to pay for the part you want. So one thing I've been noticing while driving on like a kind of straight road now in around 80 kilometers per hour for around half an hour is you really start to feel the sporty position. Your lower back, you know, it's not that bad, to be honest. Like, I could probably do this for a few hours, but sitting with your hands on the bars, you really like kind of want to put weight on them, even though you shouldn't, because your back is like saying, hey, what the fuck are you doing? This is uncomfortable. So I've been putting my hand like this on the tank, and yeah, it's been doing okay. I can't, honestly, I don't feel any pain in my back when I've been riding like this for a while with one hand, you know. What I do start to feel is my left shoulder taking all the weight of my upper torso, because my legs are also relaxed in this state. I could push down on the leg or like squeeze my legs and then sit like this, you know, but then my legs get tired. So, you know, it's a sport bike, kind of, you know, as 125 sport bike. But yeah, it's not like, I haven't ridden like, you know, an R6, for example, like a real sport bike, but I would assume this is kind of a bit more relaxed, because, you know, yeah, it's not that uncomfortable after half an hour, to be honest. Some other thing about the comfort is, you know, you have quite an acute angle in your knees. Your legs are quite, you know, pushed up high. The pegs are a bit higher than on, for example, a KTM Duke. So yeah, you're a bit more squeezed together, which is like kind of the point of a sport bike, kind of a side effect, I guess. So you could start to feel a bit in your legs, of course, like you want to stretch them, but it's not that bad, to be honest. Yeah, because after half an hour, doing absolutely okay. Like, you know, there are these kind of small things that I've noticed, but to be honest, it's okay. It's okay, yeah. My friend who owns this bike, Snagel, he actually rode this for, well, the latest was I don't know, 500 kilometers down here, and after around, I don't know, what was it, 300 in a day, he said his back started to hurt a bit, which I get. And he said he also had, you know, a bit of strain on his right hand, because he's been riding with one hand and supporting all this weight on the right hand. But other than that, like, yeah, it's a sport bike. It will be more uncomfortable than a naked bike. But I think you have to, like, you know, be ready for that if you're choosing to buy this bike. But it's not that uncomfortable that you can't ride for a couple of hours, you know. It's doable, especially with the right technique. And if you ride like you're supposed to, like not putting weight on the handlebars, kind of squeezing your legs, keeping your core supported, it's okay. It's a very comfortable sport bike, so to say. The seat, like, it's it's not soft. I won't say it's soft, but it could be harder, and I like it's okay, you know, for these kind of longer rides on straight roads. Even though that's not maybe what you will be using this bike for primarily, it's good to know that you will survive these kind of rides on straighter roads. Nope, okay. Yeah, sad. One thing to add about the comfort is the seat height. I can currently sit flat-footed with both my feet when I stand still. I'm 182 centimeters tall. Don't really know my inseam, but quite like normal built, I guess. And I have no problem at all flat-footing this. So that's nice. The seat height ain't that high. For example, like the Duke is higher, I believe, even, so it ain't that bad. So one thing about riding bikes, if you want to be safe and legal, you need mirrors. The mirrors on the YZF, you can't see jack shit out of them. But when you're driving like this, as the same, because now if I look into the mirror, I can't see the car behind me. I can't even see the lane behind me. What I have to do is lift up my arm like this, or push it down to be able to see behind me. I know that's a common problem on sport bikes, so it's like this is a problem on all sport bikes. But I think yeah, you should know about the suspension on the YZF. On the front, we have upside down suspension. No idea the diameter, but I will put it up on the screen for you guys. Those feel pretty good, actually, you know. Can throw over there. A bit firm, not that firm, but anyway. They are, you know, decently firm enough. You know, I don't really feel like the need of stiffening them up when I'm riding like this. Well, they aren't adjustable. As we're crossing this bridge, I thought I'd talk about the aerodynamics of the bike. It's a sport bike, pretty good aerodynamics. When I'm riding like this, you know, not really tucked, kind of straight arms. I can feel quite a lot of wind on my torso, like upper torso and my head. But if I tuck down like this, I don't feel too much wind at all, actually, which is real nice. And I gotta say, riding like this, I feel less wind than on a naked bike, but it's still noticeable. Other than that, I'm no aerodynamic specialist, but it does its job. It's, you know, it's a 125, not really needed. You're not really gonna feel the wind blowing at you in 300 kilometers per hour, but for what it's worth, it's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Another thing that can be good while driving in traffic is brakes. The brakes feel very firm. The front brake, at least. The back, you know, a bit squishy, but the front brake, very firm. Like comparing to the Duke, the front brake is night and day. Like the Dukes, all I've ridden have kind of a little bit of squishy front brake, but this, the YZF, firm. I love it. It's great, actually. You know, when I first rode this, you know, I was like, what the fuck, it brakes. It feels so good. Yeah, I love the front brake on this, actually. It's fantastic. Yeah, brakes, roughly approved. So now we're kind of like in the city, and I will be testing out the city performance on the bike, I guess. So far, doing okay. Definitely feels interesting to ride in the city. You know, feels a bit annoying using the blinkers and stuff, because it's less, like, it's easy for you to put the weight on the bars, so it's kind of annoying to turn on the blinkers and stuff. But hey, it is what it is. well, driving around the city, it does okay, you know. Maybe some tight maneuvers in the parking lot or stuff like that might be a bit hard on this bike compared to, like, for example, the Duke. But other than that, like, you won't really struggle that much, to be honest. It's quite easy. So the maneuverability of the bike, of course, doesn't have the best turn radius. You're actually quite low down on this compared to the Duke, so you can't really see over that many cars. Yeah, we're riding in the city, doing okay. So let's talk a bit about the dash on the YZF 125. In general, pretty basic. You got your speed, your RPM, you got your fuel, and you have a temperature. You have the odometer also. And you have a selectable info button there. As you can see, you can press the info there and change info. It does not have a gear indicator. However, it does have a neutral indicator. It does also have, you know, blinker and all that stuff. But yeah, overall, pretty basic. And everything you need and nothing more. Fantastic. So who is this bike for? Well, I think this bike fits someone with an A1 license or planning to get an A1 license, who wants a really cool bike that looks like incredible compared to other 125s. It kind of looks, you know, like a big bike, and who might not be interested in touring, which I guess not many 125 users are, but yeah, for someone who just wants to have fun with their friends, maybe hitting some twisties, or just driving around town or driving around, just, you know, and having a fantastic bike. This is a Yamaha. They're usually very reliable, so you shouldn't have a problem with reliability if you maintain it well. And yeah, I believe, like, I guess if you have back pain, might not be the best bike for you. But yeah, as I said before, the seat height is quite low, so it's very approachable as a first sports bike, or like a beginner sports bike. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I really hope you found my first ride review of this bike useful to some extent. And if you have any questions to me or Snogel, you can ask them in the comments, and we will answer them as best as we can. So that's it, and that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.